today we are working on a new perennial garden in the front yard. In the spring, we created our Insta perennial garden with all free donated plants, which was so exciting, and we've loved that space. And so now we want to build out an additional perennial garden in the front of the raised garden. Couple reasons for this. This area is really tricky to mow because it's kind of a triangle shape and it gets really close to the fence of the raised garden. It's a little bit of a low point, so it can get kind of muddy in the grass. And I just think it would be nice additionally to continue to build out landscaped areas on our property and not have 2+ acres to mow during the height of growing season. It is a huge waste of time, I think, to spend mowing grass instead of building beautiful spaces to look at, enjoy, and also cut on for the flower farm. So what we did a couple months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we laid down a silage tarp to work on killing our Bermuda grass that has sat in really hot sun, choked out the weeds a lot, I think, hopefully, and we pulled it back. We allowed the rain to get on it, so it's not rock hard clay, but it has some moisture in it from some fall rains. So now we are going to till the area, and with Eric's tractor, after we till it, he's going to scoop out the top layer of grass. So we try to remove as many Bermuda grass runners as we can because they'll just reroot and keep going. So as much as we can slough off, that'll be helpful. And we're going to put it in a part of the property where I don't have to think about it. And we're going to get planting. I'll show you here in a minute what we're going to plant. Finished another perennial garden in one day, just like we did the other one. So as you saw, we did a silage tarp first. We tilled the area. We used our bucket loader on our tractor to take off probably the first 4 inches of soil to really get any of those Bermuda grass rhizomes up and out. Then we dumped a bunch of fresh soil. It was a compost topsoil mix that we got in bags. We laid that down. We laid all the plants out so they were in kind of the order and aesthetic that we wanted. We dug all the holes, and we're done. The last remaining thing is to mulch, but we are going to use the leaves from our maple tree to mulch this area, so we need to rake those up and do all that, which will probably happen in the next couple days. But the space is pretty much done, and I want to show you what we put in. The most amount of plants in here is my yarrow. I started this yarrow from seed in March, planted them out in the Flower Farm landscape fabric, and I got a couple stems from them, but they tend to do their best on year 2. And because the flower field gets torn up every year, I wanted to save them. So we dug all of them and we transplanted them here so they can live here forever, grow really strong root systems, and give me a ton of really tall stems for cutting. There are 45 yarrow plants in here, so it's clearly very yarrow dominant, but yarrow is so beautiful. It starts to bloom in June. Sometimes you get a second flush. In addition to the yarrow, I have some drifts of some other plants. Here in front, I have a drift of about 14 irises. It's a mix, so I'm going to get some lavenders, some dark purples, some yellows. I have some penstemon, which is a really beautiful red flower, some bee balm. I've got some gaillardia, also known as blanket flower, over here. So there's a mix of spring blooming as well as summer blooming for interest. Got some liatris and more penstemon over here. And then towards the back, I have 7 peonies here. They're primarily the Sarah Bernhardt variety, which is your classic peony, but some coral in here too. Here in the back row is going to have the tallest amount of plants so they don't shade out those smaller plants near the front. And again, I have my peonies, and then I have a 2 long trenches of gladiolas. I would say at least 100 went in this first round. I still have a giant buck of probably 100 more I'll plant in the spring. But these guys are out. And then I have 4 cannas. They're a coral and yellow color. And I gave them an ample amount of space so they could really spread and fill in. And then I'm probably going to be adding some garden phlox here in the very back. So I have a wall of color in front of my pretty blue fence. I'm really excited about this space. I'm glad we got it in and thought to do the silage tarp and do our best to manage the grass. It's not going to eliminate it 100%, but it's certainly going to cut down on our weeding work over the summer. This space has primarily spring blooming flowers, so May it's probably going to look at its peak, but probably around April I'll start thinking about what other summer annuals I can pop in here, like sunflowers and zinnias, to fill in the gaps.
No sunflowers.
Okay. Maybe sunflowers. We'll see. I can already envision what this is going to look like in the spring, and it's going to be absolutely stunning, especially when it has its sister garden on the other side with very similar plants. So come back in later videos to see what this is going to look like. You're stressing me out with your hand coming up. I didn't know that you were telling me to be quiet.
What?
I thought with your hand coming up you were telling me to be quiet.
No, I'm just trying to zoom out as you close.